Hello, my name is Deborah Kitko. I'm the genealogy librarian here at the Wayne County Public Library in Worcester, Ohio. Today we're going to actually start a two-part series. We're going to talk about utilizing online resources. During this past year, everyone has sort of been having to stay indoors and trying to do the research from home, using the many variety of resources that's available online now. It's made it much easier. But I want to actually give you a few hints in terms of using some resources, particularly the Rutherford B statewide obituary index, and how you can use the information given within that index with other resources such as FamilySearch, Find a Grave, BillionGraves, and online newspapers, etc. The first part is going to focus on using RB Hayes with FamilySearch and with Find a Grave. So, and the second part, we will work with using Rutherford B Hayes website along with our own localized digitized newspapers that's available online. So hopefully you enjoy this two-part series. Utilizing online resources. Rutherford B Hayes Obituary Index, part one of a two-part series. Today we're going to take a look at the Rutherford B Hayes Obituary Index, their statewide obituary index that is available free of charge with anyone with internet access. There's a lot of resources that have been indexed through this online resource that you can actually use that as a building block to go onto FamilySearch or Find a Grave or other websites in order to access original records or even secondary records. When you're working with genealogy, particularly when you're doing online researching, there's no such thing as one-stop shopping. Yes, you've heard of FamilySearch, you've heard of Ancestry. These are two big ones. You've heard of Find a Grave, that's another big one that a lot of researchers use. But sometimes you need to use a combination of two or more of these resources in order to best utilize or best navigate your way through the online resources out there. More than 15 years ago, our library joined as a partner to the Rutherford B Hayes Presidential Library Museum out in Fremont, Ohio. This was a statewide effort to try to get a lot of partners to join up to actually create a statewide obituary index. It has a huge focus on northwestern Ohio. Wayne County is one of the first ones farther east to actually join up. And at the time that we became partners, we had probably close to 95,000 records that have been indexed. And it just continues to grow from there. So we're adding stuff on a regular basis through the RB Hayes website. Currently, there's more than 3.7 million records that have been indexed. And there are at least 65 different partner libraries within the state of Ohio who have contributed information to the RB Hayes statewide obituary index. Those counties can be seen here on this map. They're the ones in red. So you see there's a huge focus on especially the northern part of Ohio. And you have a few down in Gallia, Meigs County, Washington County, a few over on the Ohio border there, near the Ohio River with Belmont as well. Our library actually have indexed several different types of records within Rutherford B Hayes. So although it says an obituary index, this could be misleading to a lot of people because just because you find one of the names on there, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an obituary or a death notice found in a newspaper. So we actually have included obituaries published in our newspapers probably from about 1822 to about 2016, give or take. The grave registration cards, which was a WPA project back in the 1930s. We have the Wayne County, Ohio burial record, which was done by the genealogical section of the Wayne County Historical Society and was published back in 1975. There are some more updates to the burial records at this point, but this is from the items that we have added to RB Hayes is from this particular edition, the 1975 edition. We also have the probate court records from 1812 to 1900, as well as the Wayne County, Ohio death records from 1867 to 1908. So you'll see just from this listing that it's more than just newspapers. So whenever you contact our library saying you're looking for an obituary, we may email you back saying it's not necessarily an obituary you're looking for. It could be a court record. It could be an actual death record. It could be a grave registration card or even a burial record. This is what the basic search looks like. So you have the last name, first name, and middle name, you have year of death. And you have a little red asterisk next to last name. That means that that is the only field that's mandated that has to be completed. So you can say, for example, if you're looking for Adams, who may have died 1865, you can just do Adams and then 1865. You don't have to include the first name. But for today's search example, we're going to do a search underneath James Adams. You'll see here that there are several hits that come up with the name James Adams because I didn't specify a particular year. And sometimes you don't want to specify a particular year because we have probate records that index on here as well as the death records. The year that we may have as the year of death may not necessarily be the true year of death, so it may be off by a year or two. But you'll see here at the top, you'll see the different field column headings. If you click on those, you can actually sort by that particular age or by that particular place of death or by the year of death. So in this particular example, I'm looking for a James Adams who died early on. So I'm going to actually go up there and click on year of death where I have it red circled, and then that's going to sort the data in a numerical order or like in a chronological order from zero date being known to the more recent ones. So the one that I am interested in looking at today is going to be this Reverend James Adams, and you see that the spouse name is given as Margaret. It shows that we have included that his place of death is Dalton. He was 60 years old, and we have the date of death as September 28, 1826. So you want to pay attention to some of the other particular information here. So we have the age. So if you know that your James Adams was married to a Margaret, you know that maybe the approximate birth year was 1766 and died approximately 1826. This may be the individual you're looking for. You also want to take a look, if you scroll on down the screen, there's a place that says other resources. So you'll see that there's 4 different citations for this particular James Adams. You have a Wayne County grave registration card, and it gives you source data, which is going to be page 4. You have the Will County, Ohio Wills, 1812 to 1851. This is just the abstract book. And this is going to be on page 4 of the abstract, the book of abstracts of the wills, estates, and guardianships. You'll find that there is the Wayne County, Ohio burial records, which is on page 599. And then you have the Wayne County probate record, and you see that there's 2 given. There you have file number A2 and a file number A3. So with this information, you can go to another website to actually pull up the original records. You'll notice that there is no newspaper listing on here. That's because there was no obituary on Reverend James Adams. We don't have a newspaper that existed for 1826 that would include him. You also see down here at the bottom, a little further, that you have a note that this is going to be on Will Book 2, page 33. And you also notice that he served in the War of 1812 underneath Captain William Douglas's company. And he's buried there at Union Cemetery there in Dalton. So you see, just from this index, you can get a lot of information about your Reverend James Adams. But of course, in genealogy, you want to try to find the original sources. And so you can either obtain a copy of these records by contacting our department here. You can either phone us at 330-262-0916. The direct extension into the genealogy and local history department is 4670. Or you can correspond with us through email, genealogy@wcpl.info. Now we currently have a backlog. We are currently closed to the public, so you cannot come in at this time to actually look at these records yourself. So you either have to depend on us as staff members to retrieve the items for you, or you can use option 2, which means that you can obtain these documents through another website. Now the grave registration card it's in a book form here, so you'd have to come here to our library to use it, or they can be found down at the recorder's office at the administration building. They have the original records there as well. Also, you'll find that the Wayne County, Ohio burial records, you cannot find that online. However, an alternative to the Wayne County burial records would be Find a Grave or even BillionGraves. Either one of those websites, or you may want to use both of them. We're going to take a look at Find a Grave, which is just www.findagrave.com. Sure enough, there is a monument. There is a tombstone that indicates Reverend James D. Adams, 1766, 1826, erected by a grateful community in 1976. So this means this is not the original tombstone. This is more like a cenotaph. So a marker was put up in memory of him at a later date, particularly in 1976. So, and this is coming from the Memorial ID 114882378, which is a unique memorial ID through the Find a Grave website. But you see, it also gives you some other information. It indicates he died September 8th, 1826. If you're interested in trying to find a probate court record for them, like the will or the probate, then you would probably want to access another resource online, and this is FamilySearch.org. And you'll need to have a free login. You'll have to, if you don't have a login yet, you'll have to sign up for a login. You just need a valid email address. And so you just sign in using your account. It's free, no charge. And a lot of people get sidetracked. If you use FamilySearch, you may have focused just on the record search. You'll want to go down underneath the tab Search and choose Catalog. And you're going to want to do a place name search in this online catalog. And FamilySearch, the way they do it, they have the country, the state, and then the county. So you want to type in United States, Ohio, Wayne. And you'll see that the list comes up. Now, you're looking actually for a guardianship. Well, in this case, you're not going to have a guardianship. But if you are looking for a guardianship, it's very important to take a look at these actual court records, because these are going to include some additional information. This is not with the James Adams. This is just a side note here. We do have, in the abstract, it gives you sometimes for guardianship the actual age of the individual. And if you looked at the probate court record, you're not going to necessarily find the age and all the detailed information. You're going to want to go to the probate court journals. You can find that by choosing court records 1812 to 1852, and then going down and choosing whatever journal applies to your individual. Going back to James Adams, we want to look underneath United States, Ohio, Wayne, and then probate records. You'll see over there in parentheses there's 13. That means that there's 13 records or 13 titles attached to this particular subject field. You want to scroll down and you want to choose the one that says Estate Papers 1808 to 1939 and Index 1812 to 1934. Now, you do have an option that you can actually search these probate court records online, either through FamilySearch or through Ancestry. And if you have a subscription to Ancestry, this may be a little bit easier way to do it. And right now, at least through the end of June, anyone with a valid Cleveland library card can access Ancestry, the library edition from home. You just have to type in your library card number and choose what library, and you can actually have all the conveniences of Ancestry library edition at home whenever time you want to search for it. But when I tried the probate records online for James Adams, I did a search for James Adams and 0 hits came up. So through the page, you have the file number, you have A2 and you have A3. So knowing that information, I'm going to just skip over doing the search and actually browse through the records. And you'll see here underneath the digital notes or the film notes, you have Estate Papers A1 to A62. A2 and A3 fall within this time period between A1 and A62. So this is the one you're going to want to choose. If you look over on the right-hand side, you'll see a camera. This means that there is a digitized image available. If you would see a magnifying glass, it means it's searchable. If you'd find just an image or like a little icon of a microfilm, it means that it has not been digitized yet. But I think by this time, FamilySearch has majority of all of their records digitized. Not necessarily searchable, but at least they're browsable. So it's underneath the Latter-day Saints or FLH film number 007624647. Wayne County, Ohio probate court file number A2, James Adams. It begins with image number 174. You may have to do some pecking around within that website to try to find where your file actually begins. But this is going to be his complete estate file, downloadable, free of charge. And so this is just an example of his will, one-page will here given. Within the probate record, you find a last will and testament, but it also gave on R.B. Hayes where it said book 2, I think page 33. You may want to go scroll down, go back into the catalog, into the search results, and you'll see will records 1816 to 1911. And you'll find there that you'll want will records 1 and will records 2, which covers from 1816 to 1840. So once again, over on the right-hand side, you'll see the film number, and you'll see the camera indicating that there is a digitized image. So you choose that. And so this is coming from Will Book 2, and this is going to start on page 31 and 32, where the file or the document within the probate record is 1 page. This one goes on for a couple of pages. So sometimes there may be a little bit of differences between the last will and testament, so you may want to look at both of those resources. And it goes on to page 33 and then at top part of 34. And so this is just where we've used the Rutherford B. Hayes website to find the case number. And then using that case number, we go into FamilySearch, do a place name search, and choose the estate papers and then view the images online. The other option, like I mentioned, if you have a subscription to Ancestry.com, or if you're using the library edition right now, wow, you can access that from home with your library card. You can actually do a search underneath on Ancestry in the Ohio U.S. Wills and Probate Records from 1786 to 1998. In this one, you will see that you do find James Adams. Now, this is giving the probate date of 1832, which you'll notice is a little bit different from what we had. Remember, we had said that we had an approximate death date for him in 1826. So you have to use caution whenever you're using these abstracts. But you'll see from the probate packet A2, there's going to be a total of about 98 images. So at least with FamilySearch, you do not know for sure how many images you have, so you begin browsing. If you go to Ancestry and you view this, then you'll see that there are 98 images. And you can do account papers, will papers, administration papers, just different account papers. That's the big bulk of this packet. Pages 9 to 96, or images 9 to 96. Then you have another cover page and some will papers. So that's another option you can use from home to try to obtain these records. So in summary, you can use the Rutherford B. Hayes Obituary Index to come up with some brief information about your ancestor. And then you can use the information provided within this index to try to find other resources that are now available free of charge at home. Probate court files, including wills, estates, and guardianships that may be found through FamilySearch or Ancestry. And although the Wayne County, Ohio burial records are not available online, there is a good possibility you may find your ancestors' burial information through Find a Grave or through BillionGraves or some other resource such as that. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My name is Deborah Kitsko. Once again, I'm the genealogy librarian here. My direct email is dkit@wcpo.info, or you can always just call our department or send the department just a general email at genealogy, genealogy @wcpl.info. Thank you.